Eva Govinda Damodar Madhaveti. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudiraye. Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā Bhagavati uttamashloke Bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Durlabho manusho deho Dehinam shanabhangurai Tatrapi durlabam manye Vaikuntha priyadarshinaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarini. Hare Kṛṣṇa Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Thank you so much, dear worshipable devotees, for joining. We are reading Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 5, entitled The Meeting of Nanda Maharaj and Vasudeva. So we read till text number 19 yesterday, where Nanda Maharaj is planning to go to Mathura to give the taxes to King Kamsa. And he appointed some cowherd men to take care of the family in his absence, because he's going to be probably out for some time, maybe a day, maybe 2 days at least. So let's see what happens further from text number 20. Vasudeva upashrutya bhrataram nandam agatam gyatva datta karam ragye yayau tad avamochanam. Translation and purport by His Abhicharana Arvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrī Prabhupada ki Jai. When Vasudeva heard that Nanda Maharaj, his very dear friend and brother, had come to Mathura and already paid the taxes to Kamsa, he went to Nanda Maharaj's residence. Okay. Purport. Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj were so intimately connected that they lived like brothers. Furthermore, it is learned from the notes of Srila Shripad Madhvacharya that Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj were step brothers. I think we discussed that point. Vasudeva's father, Shurasena, married a Vaishya girl, and from her, Nanda Maharaj was born. Later, Nanda Maharaj himself married a Vaishya girl, Yashoda. Therefore, his family is celebrated as Vaishya family. And Krishna, identifying himself as their son, took charge of Vaishya activities. Kṛṣi go-rakṣya Vanijyam. Balram represents plying the land for agriculture and therefore always carries in his hand a plow, whereas Krishna tends cows and therefore carries a flute in his hand. Thus the two brothers represents kṛṣi-rakṣya and go-rakṣya. Wow. This is such a sweet meaning of Krishna Balaram. Is it not? The two brothers, one carries flute representing cow protection, and one carries the plow. I think we all may have seen this in multiple pictures and deity pictures, but I'm going to share this. So everyone can see. We are referring to this picture. So Krishna is carrying the flute, and Balramji carries the plow. Other such pictures as well. So many Krishna Balaram pictures. Krishna is carrying the flute. In this case, they're carrying the bull horn, which also represents kṛṣi-go-rakṣya. This one too. So many. All the here all the pictures. These are all ISKCON painting. Balramji is carrying the plow. Krishna is carrying the flute. Even here as well. And here you see Balramji carrying the plow, Krishna carrying the flute. So the whole point is that the two brothers are representing Krishna, kṛṣi-go-rakṣya. So plow is used to till the land, to make the land fertile, and then only the right seed will come. So Vasudeva Maharaj heard that Nanda Maharaj is in town. His dear friend, his dear brother is in town. And there was some question around how are they brothers. So that's also mentioned. As Prabhu, Prem Sankirtan Prabhu mentioned the other day, that Shurasenas is basically the common link. Shurasena. So Shurasena is the common father. The mothers were different. So therefore, they are stepbrothers. Okay. So at this point, when the business was already done, Vasudeva got this news. So let's see what happens further. Any other comments anyone has?
Hare Kṛṣṇa, Prabhuji. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Mataji. Prabhu, Kṛṣi means agriculture, no?
Kṛṣi means agriculture. Correct.
I've heard Kṛṣi Mantri, so agriculture ministry, no? Kṛṣi. No?
Your voice is, maybe let me increase my volume. Can you repeat the last line?
Just a minute. And then Kṛṣi means agriculture. I've heard that Kṛṣi Mantri, so agriculture minister. No?
Kṛṣi Mantri, yeah.
Yeah, in news I've heard. I don't know much Hindi. But...
Yeah, Kṛṣi Mantri is agricultural minister. That's correct. Mantri means minister. Correct. Kṛṣi Mantri.
Kṛṣi agriculture.
Yes, agricultural minister. kṛṣi-rakṣya. The two brothers represent kṛṣi-rakṣya and go-rakṣya.
Yes.
Thank you. So maybe you can read the next one. You want to read?
Tam drishtva sahasutaya deha pranam ivagatam prita priyatamam turbhyam sasvaje prema vihabala. Please scroll back, please. Translation by ISKCON Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada for Bhakti Jai. When Nanda Maharaj heard that Vasudeva had come, he was overwhelmed with love and affection, being as pleased as if his body had regained its life. Seeing Vasudeva suddenly present, he got up and embraced him with both arms. Both Nanda Maharaj was older than Vasudeva. Therefore, Nanda Maharaj embraced him and Vasudeva offered him namaskar. So, on his way towards Kamsa, I suppose, both paying the tax, Nanda Maharaj went to meet Vasudeva. And Vasudeva was so happy to meet Nanda Maharaj, his friend and dear brother, because they have met after such a long time. So they embraced each other, and they were so happy for this meeting. That's all from Jai Bhakti.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. This is a sign of love, the sign of affection, to embrace. In ISKCON also, this is a sign of actually Ambrish Maharaj also, that verse, Savai Mana Krishna Padaravindayo Tadabhritya Gatra Sparsha Anga Sangama. To embrace the body of devotees is a sign of affection, is a sign of love and devotion, and the proper use of the body. Of course, we have to keep in mind the gender also, and not go to extremes. It's not the Vaishnava culture. But here, Nanda Maharaj, the men embrace each other, the women embrace each other. That's the culture of love and affection. And I was hearing His Holiness Radhagovind Maharaj explaining more from the commentaries of Harishori, Chief Goswamis, and etc. It's a very important point here. Why did Nanda Maharaj not come to see Vasudeva? Because Vasudeva is kind of living there, is it not? Nanda Maharaj has come from outside. Generally, let's say when a guest comes to the town, right, then the natural etiquette is you would say, okay, you come to my home. Is it not? Not. Nanda Maharaj is probably living in a hotel of that time, right? In some kind of dharmshala or some place to spend the night, or here referred as Nanda Maharaj's residence. But let's see, that Nanda Maharaj's residential quarters. So wherever he was staying at that time, right? His home is in Gokula, right? And now he has come to Mathura, where Vasudeva was, where Kamsa was. Now the point, the Acharyas are explaining that why Vasudeva didn't, or why Vasudeva went there. When Nanda Maharaj heard that Vasudeva had come, so basically Vasudeva got to know that Nanda Maharaj is in town, and before anything happens, he goes there. Not because he is reluctant to invite guests, right? But there's a very deep secret. Because if Kamsa gets to know, it's like chor ki dadi mein tinka. If Kamsa gets to know that Nanda came, and Nanda came to Vasudeva's home, and Vasudeva, all that thing had happened with the 8th child and all the celestial voice and everything. Kamsa had already sent the ministers everywhere and mantris to kill the children. So Kamsa would easily make out that Vasudeva and Nanda have some connection, and they would immediately send all their ministers and spies and soldiers to see what's going on there. And this time, as when Śrīmad Prabhu was mentioning, this time Nanda also came early, and he met Vasudeva, so he could easily make out. He would have easily made out. So to avoid that, here Vasudeva, who is very, very intelligent, who is a knower of time, place, circumstances, what to do, what not to do in different time, place, circumstances, who is very, very expert in all these matters, he goes to Nanda. And that's where they met. Not at Vasudeva's place, but at where Nanda had already done his business of meeting Kamsa or meeting his like tax collectors and given the tax, as we read in the previous verse, he had already paid the taxes to Kamsa. And then Vasudeva comes there. So it was the additional point I just thought to share, which I heard. Does it make sense, or is it too confusing here?
Oh, it is good, Prabhu. Prabhu, but I was just curious, but Kamsa is also a relative, like both are relatives, right? Like sisters, Devaki Mata's brother, right? Kamsa, and Nand Maharaj is also like relative to Vasudeva. So is it not like they know each other? Maybe long relative, first suspicion. I was just curious. I'm not sure if that is much important, but first to suspect, kind of.
They again, I can only share what I heard. Certainly, they probably would, and Kamsa being, and Kamsa is like the king of he's like the big king, you can say. They were.
Yeah.
Nanda Maharaj is a very tiny, you can say, like a governor. The very tiny position he has, but Kamsa is like the prime minister. So yes, so it's a much higher level of position.
Got it. Prabhu. Maybe his ministers are thinking about it. Maybe not Kamsa, but
basically, Vasudeva wanted to hide all this meeting. Vasudeva did not want to make it to be like a public affair. That was the point. And have you heard in Hindi, like chor ki dadi mein tinka? Maybe anyone's heard?
Meaning, Prabhuji?
Chor ki dadi mein tinka. Has anyone heard in Hindi?
What is tinka?
What's the meaning, Prabhu?
Tinka is like a particle of grass or a blade of grass, kind of.
Okay.
It's like a proverb in Hindi. I'm not sure if Radha Govind Maharaj explained how it came. So Nanda Maharaj, Vasudeva is also thinking like chor ki dadi mein tinka. That means one who has done, Vasudeva has done such a big act, right? Such a big act of like going and exchanging the baby who was supposed to kill Kamsa, and that too in the whole absence of king's knowledge, right? Without king's knowledge and king's permission, he has done such a big act. Tathastha Shaure, we read in the previous 2 chapters back. He has done such a great act. So he's a little nervous also. Of course, for the protection of the child, Krishna, that somehow or the other, my baby, my child, Krishna, should not be, there should be no harm. So before Nanda comes, or if Nanda comes here, then certainly they will spot out, why is Nanda coming here? Why is, there is something. So that's the point Maharaj was trying to explain. Yes.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you. One more. I think it's mentioned Nand Maharaj is elder than Vasudeva, right? And that's why Nand Maharaj was showing his affection by having him arms around. But and at the same time, Vasudeva was showing his gratitude by namaskar. So it just thinking about it, sharing, like whoever is younger, they show their gratitude by namaskar rather than the good Indian culture. So we also maybe when younger to us, we show that way. Even I was thinking Sri Rama and Hanuman. We see a common picture, right, where Sri Rama, when he was very pleased with Hanuman finding Sita, he showed his affection by his arms around Hanuman, and Hanuman we never see that picture that Hanuman was completely hugging Sri Ram, but he was so humble, like for Sri Ram. It just struck. I just wanted to share.
Excellent point. Excellent. Wonderful. That's the Vaishnava etiquette as well. So nowadays everyone asks, how are you? Even young or old. So hello. But this is real culture. You offer respects. Yeah, the younger one offers respects. And the beauty is who is younger, who is elder. Right? So a devotee always is eager to amanina manadena. Trinadapi sunichena tarori vasaish. Amanina manadena kirtani sadahari. Thinking oneself humble in the blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, eager to offer all respects to others, and expecting none in return. So yes, we must offer our respects to others, thinking, not just thinking, but really meaning it from the heart, that they are my respectable seniors, Prabhus, Matajis, mothers, and masters. So I must offer all respects to them from my heart by bowing down. We bow down and offer the Panchakalpa, the Vaishnava Pranam mantra, or sometimes we offer Namaskar. So thank you for sharing that beautiful point. You want to read next verse, Mataji? Oops, sorry.
I'll try. Text 22. Pujita sukham asina praswanamayam adrata prasaktadi swatmajayor idam aha visampate. Translation by His Divine Grace, Śrī Bhaktivedanta, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. O Maharaj Parikshit, having thus been received and welcomed by Nanda Maharaj with honor, Vasudeva sat down very peacefully and inquired about his own two sons because of intense love for them. Hare Kṛṣṇa. Prabhuji, I was waiting for knowing how Vasudeva is actually feeling by looking, eagerly waiting to know how exactly are things going on in Vrindavan and about his sons. And this here it explains that he's very curious and he's peaceful, yet again very curious to find out about his own two sons who are safely taken care by Nanda Maharaj. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you so much. So more verses will come, how specifically he was asking about the welfare of the children. And how he asked.
Sorry, I wonder what Devaki Mata is doing, whether she knows that Nanda Maharaj is here or not. And she would be even more curious to know. Just thinking. Sorry for go ahead.
It's a very intelligent question, Mataji. And the Acharyas mentioned that how he asked was very refined and indirect also. He asked very, very, in a very indirect way about the welfare of the children. Now the question may come, why did Devaki not come? Right? For this meeting.
Prabhuji, Devaki Mata doesn't know the exchange. At that time, she was also under sleep by the under the covered by the Jogamaya.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's probably one of the reasons. Maharaj was also mentioning that Devaki would not have been able to tolerate and share all that that's actually our child. Maybe Vasudeva told later, I don't know, right? That's not explicitly mentioned. But Maharaj was certainly mentioning that a mother's emotional feelings are much higher than the father, right? Which everyone will agree to, even in this world. A mother's love for the child is definitely more than the father's love for the child. With no offense to the father. This is how God has designed the male and the female body in the system. So she would not have been able to bear that and all the beans would have been spilled right there. And so the whole idea is that this is very secretly happening, this short meeting, we'll see. They didn't meet for a long time. A very quick, short meeting they had, and then they had to leave. We'll see the reasons also why. So let's see what further conversations they had. Who else wants to read? Or any?
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Kṛṣṇa, everyone. Text 23. Drishtya bharatah pravasya idanim aprajasyate prajasya nivritasya prajayat samapadyata. Translation and purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada ki Jai. My dear brother Nanda Maharaj, at an advanced age, you had no son at all, and were hopeless of having one. Therefore, that you now have a son is a sign of a great fortune. Purport. At an advanced age, one generally cannot beget a male child. If by chance one does get a child at this age, the child is generally female. Thus, Vasudeva indirectly asked Nanda Maharaj whether he had actually begotten a male child or a female child. Vasudeva knew that Yashoda had given birth to a female child, whom he had stolen and replaced with a male child. This was a great mystery, and Vasudeva wanted to determine whether this mystery was already known to Nanda Maharaj. On inquiring, however, he was confident that the mystery of Krishna's birth and his being placed in the care of Yashoda was still hidden. There was no danger, since Kamsa at least could not learn what had happened already. What had already happened.
Any comments, Prabhu?
While reading the first line, I felt like, easy. I felt like it's Vasudev kind of hinting that whether he really got Yashoda really gave birth to a male child. But as I read through the whole purport, I realized that he's showing his affection in a way that he wants to protect his child Krishna, and he is very carefully inquiring in a way that whether Nanda Maharaj still believes that he was really born to Yashoda, and he wants to make sure that is still true, because if Kamsa would find out, then he would be trying to come after him. So he was kind of showing parental affection there, and so nicely he asked. Yeah, that's some small thing that I understood. Character explain more. Thank you.
Thank you, bro. Very nice observation. Therefore, he's using the word praja. He's not using the word son or daughter, putra, putri, etc. He's using the word praja, like a neutral word, kind of like your child, praja, because for a king, the praja is like a child. So using a neutral, gender-neutral word. So at the same time, he's asking about the welfare, that I got to know that you got a child, right? And how is your child? So he knows the mystery behind, but he does not know whether somehow Nanda got to know or not. And he is indirectly asking about the welfare. So very, very intelligent. Both are very intelligent. And as mentioned here, that due to providence or by the arrangement of Nanda Maharaj did not had any child for a long time, Nanda and Yashoda. So especially when one gets a child after a long time, one is more happy. And because one had given up the hope, as Prabhupada is writing, and you were almost hopeless of having one. And suddenly then when one gets, then one is very happy and joyful. It's like a good surprise. So that was the context here for Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda. They were not in their age was little advanced, as we read. Mata Yashoda was a little advanced, running after Krishna. She got tired. So, of course, they are, we don't have to consider the bodily aspect, but the point is mentioned here. So just have to repeat it. So very intelligently, in short, the whole dynamics is Vasudeva is asking questions after they met and asking about the welfare in a very indirect way. Let's see further. Ms. Nandini Mataji, you had any comment?
No, Prabhu, I can read the next one.
Sure, please, Mataji. Yes, you can read, Mataji.
Oh, Dandat Pranam devotees, text 24. Drishtya samsara chakresmin vartamana punarbhava uplabdho bhavan nadya dullabham darshanam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. It is also by good fortune that I am seeing you. Having obtained this opportunity, I feel as if I have taken birth again. Even though one is present in this world, to meet with intimate friends and dear relatives in this material world is extremely difficult. Vasudeva had been imprisoned by Kamsa, and therefore, although present in Mathura, he was unable to see Nanda Maharaj for many years. Therefore, when they met again, Vasudeva considered this meeting to be another birth. So such is even we get imprisoned by our own lifestyle. Here Vasudeva and Nanda Maharaj have real problem, but we often get imprisoned by our own busyness of life. Like bees, we are just always working. And this intimate relationships and especially devotee relationships should really be given priority, because that's our connection to Krishna. And so here Vasudeva is lamenting that they could not meet. Back to you, Prabhu, please add. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So rightly you mentioned these points that when because of circumstances or our own business or due to any other reasons, they could not meet. Here they wasn't in prison for a good time. And his wives were being taken care by others. He could not do much. The child was born, he had to take, he was in shackles, could not do anything what he really wanted to do. So it was basically like death. But meeting the Priya Darshanam, to see you again, my dear friend, my dear brother, is like rebirth. It's like rebirth. Even though one is present in the world, to meet with intimate friends and dear relatives in this material world is very difficult. So true. As we were talking about like earlier, there were joint families and all the family, brothers, sisters, they were all together, they would easily meet. But now, maybe the parents meet the child once a year, once in 5 years, right? The brother-sister relationships are shallow. Everything is quite shallow because money has taken priority over relationships. And the relationships are quite shallow. But here the relationship was very deep. When one, therefore the joy is there in Vasudeva and Nanda meeting each other. That's the title of this chapter, the meeting of Nanda, basically like rebirth. So when we meet sadhus, when we meet devotees, Mataji said, when we meet anyone, especially in connection to Krishna, the heart should feel joyful actually. Hanti nandati vaidveshti Vaishnava nabhinandati. Vaishnava nabhinandati. That means by seeing Vaishnavas, if one is not happy and joyful, it's an offense. And why will it happen? When one has envy against the Vaishnavas. Because that's the root cause. Otherwise, if one is respectful, if one is has some place in one's heart for the devotees, then one will be happy to meet them. Oh, my devotee friends have come. Oh, my guru has come. Oh, my spiritual master has come. Oh, Prabhupada disciples have come, or something. in any aspect, or devotees of Krishna have come out, they chant the holy name, or they read Bhagavatam. I'm so blessed that their holy feet are coming at my home. I'm so blessed. Whether they are new or old, that doesn't matter. Whether they are 10 years old or 50 years old, that doesn't matter. Whether they are Prabhupada disciples or Prabhupada's great grand disciple, that doesn't matter. The point is they're chanting Hare Krishna. So we should be very happy and joyful. Like life has come again in my life by seeing devotees. By seeing, because they carry Krishna in their heart. Devotees carry Krishna in their heart. Wherever they go, they share Krishna with everyone. And that is the real thing which gives rebirth. It's like Vasudeva considered this meeting to be another birth. So basically shows the eagerness and happiness and joy Vasudeva had. It was not just a formal, casual meeting. It was his life, Yes, Devaki Mataji, you have something in mind?
Prabhuji, it's an experience to me. Yesterday, one of my god brothers came home after such a long time. It was really happiness, Prabhuji, because I'm not going out at all these days. My husband has got Parkinson, so I have to look after him. Usually I was attending to Namhat. I was in charge of, and going to temple. Most of them, I was very much engaged in the activities in the temple. But I'm not going at all now. So one of my godbrothers came. I was really very, very happy to serve him. Yeah, it was extreme happiness. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu.
Wonderful, Tachi. That's what is happening here, especially in this COVID. Yeah, we all can relate that we may not be able to meet physically devotees as often as we would like to, or meet our brother, sister, mother, father, etc. Because of circumstances sometimes, because of physical distance sometimes, multiple factors, sometimes kids, holidays, so many things, especially, most of us living outside our native lands, because of our own choices, of course. But yeah, we should nonetheless balance and have good association of devotees, and for those who have certainly been instrument for what we are. So we should always be very happy and joyful to see them. Okay, I'll read the next verse. 25, anyone wants to read this beautiful verse?
I can read Purji. Hare Krishna devotees, Dhamma Pranam, all this is Śrīla Prabhupada, text 25. Noikatra priya sambhasya shuridam chitra karmanam aghohana vihamananam plavana stotasya jatha. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Śrīla Prabhupada Vijay. Translation. Many plants and sticks, unable to stay together, are carried away by the force of a river's waves. Similarly, although we are intimately related with friends and family members, we are unable to stay together because of our very past deeds and the waves of time. Purport. Vasudeva was lamenting because he and Nanda Maharaj could not live together. Yet, how could they live together? Vasudeva wants that all of us, even if intimately related, are carried away by the waves of time according to the results of past karma. So just as Prabhuji just explained that we are staying far away from our native lands, so we are detached from our friends, families. once we were so close, now relish each other, talk each other. So I think that is the life there and here as well. Back to Prabhuji.
Hare Kṛṣṇa. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, that's the reality. Because again, the further we are going from Vedic culture, the joint family, a smaller family than the nucleus. Like earlier, the families would have 10 children, right? Like my father, on my father's side, there are like 6 children. My father, 2 brothers and 3 sisters. On my mother's side, there are like 3 brothers and 3 sisters. So 6, 7 children were normal, right? At that time, maybe 50 years back, approximately. But now, even 1 or 2 children is becoming too much for the parents. So the family size is reducing. At the same time, there are multiple reasons we think we are advancing. But earlier they were fine. Maintenance of the family was not really a big thing. Somehow everything will work out. Bhaktivinoda Thakur had 10 children, right? So, but nowadays it's we are advancing very fast, but probably not in the best direction. But the whole point is, yes, that and this is the reality of life. This comes in multiple points. Sometimes it's shared as like 2 particles of sand come by the wave of an ocean. They come together for some time and then again they're gone by the next wave. Similarly, here 2 planks of sticks are shared. They're carried by the force of a river. They are together for some time and then suddenly a turn comes and the one plank goes one way, another plank goes miles in a different direction. Or so it's very hard to tell how, what, when. Of course, there is certainly some free will, a lot of free will, right? A lot of free will is there in this situation. A lot of priority setting is there. Multiple factors are there. But the point is that this is how the relationships are in this world. So nonetheless, we should strive to have genuine relationships amongst God brothers, God sisters, God family, and do our best to also stay connected to our parents, brothers, sisters also, and try our best to help them also to become devotees if possible. If not, at least be a kind well-wisher to them. If they don't want to practice Krishna consciousness, that's their choice. But we can be at least a well-wisher to them and do what we can. Means to support them. For those who have done so much for us, a devotee is always grateful for even little thing one may have done. What to speak of being grateful to the parents who have done so much for us, which we can never repay. Okay, we'll read one more verse before we pause. Anyone would like to read text 26?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I can read. Hare Krishna devotees, and Pranam. Text number 26. Kachit pasvayam nirujam Puhya ambo trana virudham brahadvanam tad aduna yatra setvam shrit prata. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta from Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. My dear friend Nanda Maharaj, in the palace where you are living with your friends, is the forest favorable for the animals, cows? I hope there is no disease or inconvenience. The place must be full of water, grass, and other plants. Purport. For human happiness, one must care for animals, especially the cows. Vasudeva therefore inquired whether there was a good arrangement for the animals where Nanda Maharaj lived. For the proper pursuit of human happiness, there must be arrangements for the protection of cows. This means that there must be forest and adequate pasturing grounds full of grass and water. If the animals are happy, there will be ample supply of milk, from which human beings will benefit by deriving many milk products with which to live happily, as enjoyed in Bhagavad Gita 18.44. Krishi go-rakṣya vanijyam vaishya karma swayam swabhavajam. Without giving proper facilities to the animals, how can human society be happy? That people are raising cattle to send to the slaughterhouses is a great sin. By this demonic enterprise, people are ruining their chance for a truly human life because they are not giving any importance to the instructions of Krishna. The advancement in the so-called civilization resembles the crazy efforts of men in lunatic asylum. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Kṛṣṇa. So again, wonderful verse, Prabhuji. Here we can see that Vasudeva is much concerned about Nanda Maharaj, and he's asking about his, where are you living? How are your friends, and are there animals, especially cows? Is there any inconvenience and all? So Srila Prabhupada mentions that, for a human society to live happily, we must take care of cows because they will supply ample amount of milk with which people get nourished. I mean, I've heard that Nanda Maharaj had 9 lakh cows, 900,000 cows, and they used to give plenty of milk. So everyone used to be very happy, because they go-rakṣya. Prabhupada is mentioning. So in this way, Prabhupada mentions that if we follow the instructions of Lord Krishna and our Maharajas, and then there is no need of artificial advancement. This advancement will come automatically, and not only in all walks of life it will be, and everyone will be very happy just by protecting the cows, and everyone will become very, very happy. Thanks, Prabhupada. Please, Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. This is real wealth. The cows are happy. They are nicely cared. They will give ample amount of milk. The citizen, the calves and the other Rajavasis will drink. And then indirectly, the child will get ample amount of milk. Right? Because cow milk helps the mother to give more, feed more milk to the child. This is the culture. So, asking about the welfare. For human happiness, Prabhupada is writing, one must care for the animals. All animals, especially the cows. Nowadays, we see people are, they are in extreme, not say love, but attachment to cats and dogs, especially in US. with no offense to anyone, but and you know, to be honest, I've seen so many of these videos and articles where the dog bit their owner, the dog bit the neighbor, the dog, you know, their arm had to be amputated to such an extent. These, you know, crazy dogs like big bulldog and big German Shepherd, they can go crazy sometimes, and they can bite the very owner, even to the extent of like the child, you know, sometimes like a 1 year or 2 year old in the home, and the big dog is there, and the child does not know, and the child tries to go near the dog is eating, the dog feels disturbed, and the dog basically bites the child, and the child is dead. Real stories. We never hear that with cows. Right? Cows. So, but the very same people who you know, at least externally try to be so much loving and caring towards the cows and the dogs and the cats, but they kill the cows. That's not good. Real prosperity comes from caring for the animals, especially the cows, because cows are like mother, they're not just animal. They are like mother, go mata. So if cows are not cared for, then the human life basically becomes demoniac life, and that's what is happening. Millions of cows, millions of cattle are slaughtered, and chickens and whatnot. Everything is, all the fishes and so much killing of innocent animals. Ugra karma, these big machines for big massive tons of fishing. So it is all leading to lunatic asylum. Wow. The advancement of their so-called civilization without Krishna consciousness, or not giving importance to bhakti or Bhagavad Gita. What's the instruction of Krishna? Is Bhagavad Gita primarily, and Bhagavatam. Yah shastra vidim utsrijya vartate kama-kārataha na sa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gati. No happiness, no higher destination. The person will be miserable, or in short, lunatic asylum. Prabhupada is writing. So the essence is that we must not ignore the verdict of the scriptures or Krishna in the form of Gita and Bhagavatam, and try our best to live by it. Then life will be happy and perfect. Any other comments anyone has before we pause for today?
Prabhu, I was just thinking, as you said, Nanda Maharaj, Vasudeva was not asking directly, rather indirectly about his sons. This phrase, I think this sloka resembles that, looks like, because he's asking about the cows, and if they are taken care properly, that way they give good milk, and as you just explained, it would be sufficient for all of them around Krishna, and Krishna and Balram, of course, his two sons can grow good, happily, basically. So just thinking, maybe he's trying to find out the welfare of the kids, if they are sufficiently fed, taken good care. Although he knows that Nanda Maharaj will take good care.
Absolutely. Indirectly he's asking. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing a thoughtful comment. Very nice. Okay, so I guess we will pause here. Kantraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samavita Gaurav ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo. Thank you so much. Hare Kṛṣṇa.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna, Prabhu.